Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Juan the Yarn Addict, and today I present a tutorial for a rectangular entrelac in the round. Let me show you what this looks like. It's so nice. So this project can be worked up into a throw, a blanket, or even a panel for a wearable. It's very easy to do, and I show you every step along the way, which includes finishing touches such as straightening the edges with triangles along the sides and in the corners. And I have a small example of what I mean. Let me just show you my example here. It's very nice. So for today's tutorial, I will be using the yarn that you're seeing in front of you right here. I will be using Caron 1 pound in white, light blue, and soft sage with a 6.5mm crochet hook from Susan Bates. This is the hook I will be using. So this project works up great with any weight of yarn, but feel free to use your choice of yarn and follow the recommended hook size for the yarn of your choice as a starting point, and then hook up or down from there. Please be sure to refer back to the timestamps in the show notes as needed for this tutorial. Before we begin, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for free, of course, if you haven't done so already. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this tutorial started. Okay, so to begin, what we need to do is create a slip knot on our hook. However you do this is absolutely fine. This is how I do it. And once you have your slip knot established, we're going to go ahead and chain 34 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Continue on with that until you have 34 chains, and I will meet you back here in just a moment. Okay, so I am back. I've chained 34 chains. And so from here, we're going to go into the second chain from the hook. So this little bump right here is the first chain. This is the second chain. We're not counting the one that's actually on the hook. So we're going to go into the second chain right here with the tip of our crochet hook. Let's go in there and draw a loop. And we're going to continue drawing loops until we have 6 picked up loops. So far we have the original loop, and then we have 1 picked up loop here. So we're going to pick up a total of 6. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, 5, and 6. So we have 6 picked up loops plus the original loop for a total of 7 loops on the hook. So from here we're going to do what's called a return pass. So we're going to go into the next chain, draw a loop, and go through the first 2 loops, just like that. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue doing this until you get to the end of the row. There you go. So these 2 pulled together creates the corner. Very nice. And so our front bars are the bars we're going to work into to create our rows. So we have 1 bar here. This is the front bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have these 2 bars right here. So these 2 bars, as we work them, will become separate. So let's do what's called a forward pass. The forward pass is where we're picking up the bars. The return pass is where we're dropping them off. So let's go ahead and go into this front bar here. Draw a loop. So there's 1, there's 2. Let's go into that one. There's 3 and 4. And then these 2 that are together, they're now going to be separate. Let's pick up just 1, draw a loop. That's 5. And then here we have the last front bar. Let's pick that up and draw a loop. So we have 6 loops plus the original one for a total of 7 loops. And we are now going to do a return pass. So we're going to come over here to our chain, go into the chain, draw a loop, and go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2, and continue doing that until you get to the end of the row. Just like this. So 1 row involves going forward and backwards. So there you have it. And it creates a very solid stitch, but you won't see it until you get to the row above it. So that is the end of row number 2. So to go to row number 3, we're going to continue picking up these front bars. We're going to do a forward pass. So let's go ahead and go in, draw a loop, and continue doing that to all of these front bars. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this first loop here we don't count. It's just our original loop here. We're always going to have it, and it creates our side there. Okay, so we have 6 picked up loops plus our original loop, and now we've completed the forward pass. Now we have to do the return pass. We have to go back to where we came from to finish the row. So let's go ahead and go into the chain, draw a loop, and go through the first 2, and then yarn over and go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2, and continue doing that until you get to the end of the row. Just like that. Okay, so that concludes row number 3. We're going to move on to row number 4. But before we do that, if you notice, it actually closes up here. As you move forward, your rows will close up and become very solid, which is what we're looking for. Okay, so let's go ahead and start row number 4. We're going to pick up these front bars, as I mentioned previously. Let's go in, just pick up that front loop there, draw a loop and pull through, and continue doing that. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We have 6 loops plus our original loop for a total of 7 loops on the hook. Let's go into our chain, draw a loop, and go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2, and continue doing that until you get to the end of the row. So now we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 completed rows. Let's go ahead and do row number 5 the same way we've done the previous ones. We're just picking up the front bars for the forward pass. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's start our return pass. We're going to go into the chain, draw a loop, go through 2 first, and then yarn over and go through 2. And continue doing that until you get to the end of the row. Okay, so we are building a 6x6 square. So we have 6 stitches across, as you can see with these front bars, and we have to go 6 high. But as you notice, the height of the stitch is more than the width. So we are going to do what's called a cap row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now to do a cap row, it's what I call it, a cap row. So we're going to pick up the front bar, draw a loop, and slip to close. Pick up the front bar, draw a loop, and slip to close. So we're closing off the row there. So we're going to continue doing that until we have no bars left. And there you have it, the first square. Very, very nice. Now, from here, we are going to go ahead and start our second square. So I know based on the way you're seeing this, you're going to want to go into the next chain and slip to close. You don't want to do that. You want to leave it just like this. So from here, we are going to pick up 6 more loops. We're going to start our next square. So we're going to go right into the next chain, draw a loop, and continue doing that until we have our magic 7 on the hook. So we have 4 loops there so far. There's 5, 6, and 7. So a total of 7 loops on the hook. We're going to go into the next one to start our return pass. So we're going to go in, draw up a loop, go through 2 first, very carefully. There we go. Yarn over, go through 2, and continue doing this until you get to the end of the row for the return pass. Just like that. And so from here, we're just going to build our square the way we've done it here. So just for good measure, we're going to go ahead and pick up that front bar, draw a loop. We're going to start our forward pass for row number 2. Let's go ahead and pick up these front bars. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 6 picked up loops, magic 7, which this first loop, as I mentioned before, is just our original loop there. It creates the side. Perfect. And so now we need to do our return pass. So we need to go into the next chain, draw up a loop, go through 2 first, and then yarn over and go through 2. And continue doing that until you get to the end of the row. Just like that. So continue doing this until you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 rows. So far we have 2. So begin row number 3 for the forward pass, picking up the loops. Continue doing this until you have 5 completed rows, and I will meet you right back here in just a moment. Okay, so I am back. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 rows. So from here, we're going to do a cap row. We're going to slip our way all the way across back to our chain. And so once again, we're just going to pick up these front bars one at a time, draw a loop, and slip to close. Pick up the bar, well actually go through the bar, pick up the loop, and slip to close. And just continue doing that until we arrive at our chain right here. So far we have 3 picked up, draw a loop, slip to close, that's 4, that's 5, and that is 6. So we have 2 completed squares so far. Very, very nice. So this is the front. Let's flip this over and look at the back. Very, very nice. Okay. From here, and again, I mentioned it here, once you've completed your square, you don't want to go into the next chain and slip to close to pull that in. You want to leave it just like this. From here, we're going to build our third and final square for our project. So we are going to pick up 6 more loops. So let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 6 picked up loops, our original loop here, and you should have 5 chains left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Perfect. So each chain will represent each of our rows. Now the cap row does not involve us going into a chain, as we've done previously. Remember, we left it alone, we didn't go into the chain. So we only need 5 chains for our 5 rows. That 6th row is our cap row, and so we won't need that. So let's go ahead and do a return pass for row number 1. We're going to go into the next chain, draw up a loop, and slip through the first 2 loops, yarn over, and go through the next 2 and continue doing that until you get to the end of the row. Just like that. And as we've done before, we're just going to pick up our front loops for the forward pass. It's 3, it's 4, it's 5, and that's 6. So 6 plus 1, magic 7. And then we're going to go into the next chain, draw a loop, slip through the first 2. When you get towards the end, the chain will tend to get in the way, but it's only temporary. So we're just going to do our return pass by yarning over and going through 2, as we've done previously. So continue doing that until you have 5 rows completed, and I'll meet you right here at the end of our chain in just a moment. Okay, so I have 5 rows completed. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So from here, I'm going to do a forward pass to close all this off. It's my cap row. So let's go ahead and pick up these bars, draw a loop, and slip to close. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So here we are at the very end. And so from here, what I like to do, since I am changing colors, I like to change colors every round. So if I weren't changing colors and I decided to continue on with this light sage color, I would literally just create a chain 7, but I am changing colors. So what I do from here is I like to go into this last chain with a slip. I go in, I drop a loop, and I slip just like that, and then I chain 2, and then I cut my work just like this, pull my hook away from my work, pinch and pull down, and I close it off just like that. And of course we sew in the ends later, but for now I am going to go ahead and put my new color on. Let's pull the old color away, let's bring the new color in, and for this round, we're now going in the round, I'm going to use white. So with the new color, I'm going to create a slip knot on my hook, just like this. However you do this is absolutely fine. Once we have the slip knot established, we're going to go ahead and once again go into that chain where we just came out of, just like that, draw a loop and slip. Let's tighten everything up nice and tight, and there we have it. Okay, so from here you just want to make sure that your tails are not in the way. Of course you can sew them in now, but I just have them out of the way for now. So from here, we're going to go ahead and chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so once you have a chain 7, we're just going to swivel around and we're going to create a square right here. Okay, so we're going to go into the second chain from the hook, not this first one, but this second one right here, and we're going to pick up all the loops that we've just created. Okay, so let's go do that. Go in, draw a loop. There's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and this last one here makes 6. Okay. So now we are going to have to do our return passes. So what we're going to do here is we have to kind of map out where we're going to place our hook, because this side here does not look like this side here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by once again going into this space right here where we created our slip. We're going to go right in there to begin. Draw a loop, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue doing that until you get to the end of the row. Just like this. So we have our 4 bars standing by themselves and then the pair of twins just sitting off to the side. So that completes row number 1. Let's go ahead and do row number 2. Let's just pick up the front bar and draw a loop, just like that. Here's 2. Here's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so now that I have the loops on the hook, we have magic 7. I'm going to take this hook here and kind of map out. So we have row 1 done, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you look on the side of the bars here, there's a little space. You're going to insert your hook right next to the bar, just like that. Okay? If you have to, just use your fingers and kind of pull it apart, and you'll be able to see it, the little holes there. So at the end of every row where you see a bar here, there should be a hole there. And that's where you want to place your hook for each row. Because remember, the cap row, you don't go into your work. So you're just capping off your square, and then you're going into your next square. Okay? So let's do our return pass. We see our bars here of the second row. Let's go into our space, as you can see right there. We're going to draw a loop. Make sure the tension's nice and tight, not too loose, not too tight, but just right. Go through the first 2 first, yarn over, go through 2, and just continue doing that until you get to the end of the row. So that concludes the second row. Let's go on and do row number 3. Let's pick up the front bars for the forward pass. There's 3, 4, 5, and 6. We see our bars here, right to the side. You can see that empty space. That's where we place our hook, draw a loop, pull in and go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2, and continue doing that until you get to the end of the row. So we have 3 rows completed so far. Continue on with this until you have 5 completed rows, and I'll meet you right here at this corner in just a moment. Okay, so I am back. I have 5 rows completed. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is what our joins look like. Very, very neat and orderly. That's exactly how it should look. And so we need to do our cap row to get back to our work. So as I mentioned, we're going to work in the round here. We're going to come down and around the work and come back up, okay? But for now, what we need to do is our cap row. So we need to pick up a bar, draw a loop, and slip to close off this square. And we're going to continue doing that until we've done it all the way across. So I have 3 done so far. There's 4, 5, and 6. So there's our first completed square in the new round. And as you can see, it lines up perfectly. Our joins are nice. It's exactly how it should look. Now this here, you can tell it's a little rounded. Don't you worry about that. It all will work out in the end because after all, as you can see here, we actually have a plan for where we're placing our hook, okay? So there's that. Now, from here, as you can see, we have what's called a staircase. Let me just flatten everything out and show you the staircase. So we are going to be building squares going up the stairs, okay? The way we're going to do this, going forward, because this is a corner square, so going up the steps, we are actually going to be hooking into the square from the previous row or round. So instead of working into all of this, we're going to work into this, okay? So front bars is what we're working into, okay? So let's get our yarn together here. All right, so to do a forward pass for row number 1, we are going to pick up our front bars. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so let's go in, draw a loop. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have the magic 7. 6 loops plus our original loop there. And as I mentioned before, when you're going into the side, all you're doing is you're looking at your front bars here. Let me move all this out of the way. You're looking at your front bars and you're going into the hole next to your front bars. If you look closely, you see 2 lines. You can see 2 lines, 2 lines, 2 lines, 2 lines. You see that? You're going to go right next to the 2 lines there, and that's where you're going to place your hook. That's how you know where to place it. So just look for the bars that are going up and down, and then look to the side, and you will see an equal sign. And that's where you place your hook, okay? So let's go ahead and do this first one here. Look for the equal sign. You can see it right there. You're going to place your hook right in there. Draw a loop. Go through the first 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue on until you get to the end of your return pass. So there's that. Let me just fix this very quickly. Okay. So that is the first row completed. So now we're going to do a forward pass, and we're going to continue doing what we've done previously. So we're going to pick up that front bar, draw a loop for our forward pass. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. From here, we're going to look for our equal sign, go right into that hole there, draw a loop, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue doing that. Now, as you work your square, your equal sign may shift over to the other side, and that's okay. You can just finger it and look around. You can kind of see where your equal signs are. That's what I call them anyway. So row 2 is complete. So continue doing this until you have 5 rows completed, and just remember, look for your equal sign so you know where to place your hook to go to do your return pass. Okay, so continue with that, and I'll meet you right here in the corner in just a moment. Okay, so I am back. I have 5 rows completed, and so we have to do our cap row here to close this off to get back to working our staircase here. And if your work is curling, don't you worry, because as you work your project, as you can see, it flattens right out, okay? So let's go ahead and do our cap row here. We're going to pick up the front bar, draw a loop, and slip to close, and we're going to continue doing that until we get to our work over here. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There we have it. And I always like to look at my joins just to make sure they're uniform, nice and neat. Very, very nice. Okay, so from here, we're going to continue doing what we just did over here. So just for good measure, I'm going to do this first row with you, and then I'll have you continue on to finish this square. So from here, we don't chain to slip, we go right into the front bars. Now just remember, you need 6 of them, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're going to go into this first bar right here, draw a loop, go into the next one, and continue doing this until you have the magic 7 on your hook. So I have my 3 loops I picked up plus my original, so I have 3 more to pick up. So 1, 2, and 3. So I have the magic 7, and from here, in true fashion, as I've done previously, I look for the bar, and then I look for the equal sign. Sometimes it's on this side, sometimes it's on this side, but you can honestly see the hole right there. So you're just going to go right in, draw a loop, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue doing that until you get to the end of the row. Very, very nice. Okay, so continue doing this, and I will meet you right here at the top of our square in just a moment. Okay, so I'm at the end of the square here, and as you can see, I have all of the rows completed. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then of course the cap row here, which brings us to the end of the square. If you notice, we have nothing else to build on, so we're going to work in the round. We're going to come over and around and back down to where we started, right here. So from here, what we need to do is build another square. Since we can't work off of one, we need to build one. So to do that, what we need to do from here is chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Once you have your 7 chains, we're going to go into the second chain from the hook. So this is the first one. We're going to go into the second one right here with the tip of our crochet hook, and we're going to draw a loop just like that. And we're going to continue doing that until we've gone all the way down the chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we've picked up 6 chains, and we still have the original loop there, so we have a magic 7. And so from here, just roll that back, and from here, you're going to go into the space in between the bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that, okay? So we're going to go right in between the bars right there. Draw a loop and go through 2. We're going to yarn over, go through 2, and continue doing this until we get to the end of the row. Just like that. From here, we're going to start row number 2. We're going to pick up the front bar, draw a loop, and continue doing this all the way across. It's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, if we see here, we have the 2 bars. We're going to go right in between the bars and draw a loop, just like that. Go through the 2 loops there, yarn over and go through 2, and continue doing that until you get to the end of the row. Just like this. So continue doing this until you have 5 completed rows, and I will meet you at the 5th row right up here. Okay, so I'll see you in just a moment. Okay, I'm back, and I've completed the 5th row. So from here, I just need to do my cap row. I just wanted to show you what this looks like so far. And so from here, what we need to do is our cap row. Pick up the front bar, draw a loop, and slip to close. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So here we are. So I have nothing to build off of, right? I have no stair, so I need to build another square. So once again, I'm going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And from here, I'm going to go into the second chain from the hook, which is right here. That's the first one. This is the second one. Let's go into that chain and draw a loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have the magic 7, 6 loops plus our original loop. And so from here, we're going to build this way. So if you notice, on this side here, you will see a V here, like a smaller V, and then a larger V. You do not want to go into that smaller V here. So just count your V's. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are the 5 that you want to work into, because remember, the 6th row is a cap row and you don't work into any of the V's. You only need 5 of them, okay? So from here, we're going to go into this first V here with the tip of our crochet hook, picking up the front loop and the back loop. Draw the loop, tighten up your tension, and go through the first 2 loops, just like that. Yarn over, go through 2, and continue doing that until you get to the end of the row. Just like that. And so you're going to continue working your rows, going into the V's until you have 5 completed rows. So continue doing that, and I will meet you at the end of the 5th row in just a moment. Okay, I am back. I have 5 completed rows here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I only need to do my cap row. So let's go ahead, pick up that front bar, draw up a loop, and slip to close. And let's just continue doing that till we've done it for all 6 of the bars here. Just like that. And there you have it. Okay. So from here, we are going to climb the stairs until we have none left. So I'm just going to show you the back side of this first square, and then I'm going to have you build the second square all by yourself. Okay, and feel free to rewind and replay until you get it. It is fairly simple. So from here, what we need to do is pick up these 6 bars here. So let's go in, draw a loop, and just go straight across and pick up these 6 bars. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Very, very good. Now, on the back side here, let's just take a quick look at our square here. So if you notice, there's only 4 V's, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 5th one is actually right next to the equal sign, right here. It's in the corner. So let's go right into the corner there, draw a loop, and go through 2, and continue on yarning over and going through 2 loops, just like this. There you have it. Okay, so that's the first row, and now you have 4 V's, and you have 5 rows in total, so it works out beautifully. So we're going to pick up that front bar, draw a loop, and just continue with our forward pass. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's go into the V, draw a loop, go through 2, and complete our return pass. So continue on with this, and I shall see you at the end of our square here with 5 completed rows and our cap row. So I will meet you right here in just a moment. Okay, so I am back. I have finished my square here, and so let me just make a bunny ear here and show you what the work looks like. So we've gone up and around, and here we are. We're almost back to the beginning. So what we're going to do from here is continue on making the next square. We're going to climb the stairs. So what we're going to do here is start the forward pass for row number 1. So we're going to pick up our front bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Where are you? Here we go. So we have 6 plus 1, magic 7, and we're going to go right into the corner here and draw a loop, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue on until you finish your row. And so from here, we're going to continue building our square. As we've done here, you're going to need 5 completed rows and your cap row. So continue on with this, and I will meet you right here in the corner, as we've done over here, in just a moment. Okay, so I have finished my square here. This is what our work looks like so far. Very, very nice. And so as you can see, I have no stairs to climb, so I am going to chain 7 and create a square here. So let's go ahead and do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So from here, we're going to go into the second chain from the hook. That's the first one. This is the second one. We're going to go in here with our crochet hook and draw a loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Perfect. So I'm just going to swivel this around. And as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So what we're going to do is we are going to go into the second V, not the first one, the second one. We're going to draw a loop and go through the first 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue doing that until you get to the end of the row. All right, so from here, we are going to build row number 2. Let's pick up our front loops there for the forward pass. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have the magic 7, the original loop plus the 6, and we're going to continue working into our V's here until we have 5 completed rows. So continue doing this until you have 5 completed rows, and I will meet you up here in just a moment. Okay, so I am back. I've completed my square here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 completed rows, and of course I've done the cap row here. And I have slipped into that very first space we started with of our round. And I've chained 2, I've cut off and tied off. So that is how you end the round here. Very, very nice. So from here, we are going to add on yet another color. For this round here, I have light blue. So let me go ahead and create a slip knot on my hook. However you do this is absolutely fine. This is how I do it. And once we have the slip knot established, we're going to go into the very first V. There's 5 V's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to go into this very first one. And we're going to go in, draw up a loop, slip, tighten everything up nice and tight, yarn over, go through our loop and tighten up once more. Okay? From here, we are going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to swivel my work around just a little, and I'm going to pick up all the loops in my chain, starting from the second chain from the hook. So, not the first one, but the second one. So let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you should have 6 picked up loops and 1 left over, so a total of 7, our magic 7. And so from here, we're going to go into the stitch we just came out of. Drop a loop and slip through the first 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue on until you get to the end of the row. And that is how you join on the next color for the next round. Now, it looks like it's off center, but remember, when you work your next row here during the forward pass, you're actually picking all of this up. So it slides up and it will line up perfectly. Okay, so if it hangs past where the last round was, don't worry, it will line up. Okay, so from here, we're going to build our square the way we've done. And in fact, I'm going to have all of you climb the stairs. So you're going to build your square and continue on like we've done the previous round for 1, 2, 3, and 4 squares. Okay? So continue on with this, and I will meet you at the end of the 4th square right here in just a moment. Okay, so I am back. I've climbed the stairs, and I have no more stairs. So in true fashion, we need to chain 7 to create a square, otherwise known as our corner. We're creating a corner here. So let's go ahead and chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There we have our 7 chains, and as we've done previously, we're going to go into the second chain from the hook and draw loops all the way across for our magic 7. So let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 6 loops plus 1 is our magic 7. And as I mentioned before, you have a little V and the larger V. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 V's that we're going to go into. So ignore this little V right here in the corner. We're not going to go into this little V. We're going to start by going into the first larger V here. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's insert our hook, draw a loop, go through the first 2, yarn over, and continue going through 2 all the way across until you finish your row. Just like that. Okay? So continue on with this square and the next one. And I will meet you right here in just a moment. Okay, so I am back. I've completed my square, and so as we can see, I have no stairs to climb, so I need to build a square, otherwise known as our next corner. And in true fashion, when we need to build our square, we need to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's swivel around, and as we've done previously, we need to go into the second chain from the hook. So that's the first one. This is the second one right there. Let's go ahead and go in there and draw some loops. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so if we're looking at our side here, we need 5 V's. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to go into this V. I mentioned before, not the little one. Go into the first big one here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go in there, draw a loop, and just pull through the first 2 and then yarn over. Go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, all the way down until you finish your row. Just like that. So continue on building your square and then climbing the stairs. Build your square, climb the stairs. And I will meet you all the way down here at the end of the row in just a moment. Okay, so I have finished climbing the stairs, as you can see here. Very, very nice. And so I have no more to climb, so I am making a square, otherwise known as a corner. And in true fashion, we are going to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And as we've done previously, we're going to go into the second chain from the hook and draw a loop. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to continue until we have all of the chains in loops. So let's go ahead and go down. It's 2, it's 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have the magic 7, the original loop, and 6 that we've picked up. Okay? So let's take a quick look at the side of our work here. So we have the V's here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to begin by going into this V right here, not the little V, this bigger one right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's draw a loop, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through 2, and continue doing that until you finish the row. Just like that. Okay, so from here we're going to build our square and climb the next stair here, and that will be the end of the round. So continue on here, and I'll meet you at the end of the round in just a moment. Okay, so here we are at the end of the round. I've climbed the stair, I've finished off with my cap row, I joined into the very beginning of the round, I chained 2, I cut off, and here we are with our knot. I pinched and pulled down, and there you are. So to continue on building your project out, you're going to repeat what we've already done. You're literally going to take your next color, come over here into the corner, go into the first V, and repeat what we've done previously. Build your first square and then climb the stairs until there aren't any more. And then you're going to chain 7, build your square, turn it around and climb the stairs. And you're going to continue doing that until there are no more. And it's repetition. So you're literally just repeating the process all the way around until you get to your desired size. Very, very easy. So this is the front, and let's turn this over and look at the back, minus the tails, of course. It's very, very nice. Okay, so there's one final thing that I would really like to show you, and that's how to close off your ridges. Not everyone wants a rippled edge on their project, so I'm going to show you how to flatten the edges here. Okay, so first what we need to do is create a slip knot on our hook. However you do this is absolutely fine. Once you have your slip knot established, we're going to go ahead and turn our work as if we're climbing the stairs. And let me just rearrange my yarn here. Okay, perfect. So the first thing that we want to do is attach our work to our project. So we want to go into this very first V of the side. So if you look, you have your 6 posts here. Let me grab my little pointer. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You're going to go behind that and go into that very first V right here. Okay? Let's insert our hook into that V right there. It's a little tough, but we can get it. There we go. Draw up a loop and slip to close, just like that. So now that we're attached to our work, we now have our original loop. So from here, let me move the scissors. From here, we are going to pick up the front loops. So let's go ahead and do that. It's almost like we're building a square. We're building half of a square, which is a triangle. So let's continue picking up all 6 of these front loops here, these front bars. So we have the magic 7, perfect. And for row number 1, we are actually going to go ahead and go into our space right here next to our equal sign. Draw a loop, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and complete as per normal. Okay? From here, we are going to skip the first bar and go to the second bar. There's no chaining involved. We're just going to go right to that second bar there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to go into our second space there, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue on until you've finished going through everything there. And then next, what we're going to do is skip the first bar, go into the second bar, draw a loop, and continue picking up these front bars. For row number 3, you should have 4 plus your original loop. Let's go into our V, draw up a loop, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue on until you finish like that. Next, we're going to skip the first bar, go into the second one, pick up a loop, go through the next 2 here. There we go. And go into this next V here, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, just like that. As you can see there, very, very nice. All right, so from here, we are actually going to go ahead and skip the first bar, go to the very last bar, draw a loop, just like that, go into this corner piece right here, draw a loop, and go through 2. And that is how you complete a half triangle, or at least how I do it. So from here, we move on. Let's do it again. We're going to pick up our 6 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have the magic 7, 6 loops plus 1. We're going to go into this space right here, draw a loop, and go through 2, and continue on until you get to the end of the row here. Just like that. Another option you could pursue if you're interested is, instead of skipping that first bar, you can pick up the 2 bars. But I find that to be a little confusing if you're learning this for the first time. So if it's easier for you to just skip to the second bar like we've done with this one here, by all means go ahead and do it. If you're comfortable, go ahead and pick up these 2, but just remember, when you draw the loop, you're going through both of them and not just the one. So for continuity here, I'm going to continue doing it the way I'm showing you. So skip the first bar, go into the second one, draw a loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go to the next V there, draw a loop and go through the first 2, yarn over, go through 2, and just continue doing this until you have no more loops on the hook. From here, we're going to skip the first bar, and we're just going to repeat that process. Skipping the first bar, picking up the rest of the bars, and then going into the V, drawing a loop, going through the first 2, yarn over, and go through 2 until you have no more left on the hook. So we have 4 bars left for this row. Skip the first one, go into the second one, draw a loop, and continue going through the rest of the bars for the row. For this row here, we have a total of 4, 3 loops plus the original loop. Let's go into the next V, draw a loop, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. So from here, we are going to skip the bar here, go into the next one, draw a loop, go into the last one there, draw a loop very carefully. You should have 3 loops on your hook so far. And then from here, we're going to go into that top V right there. Draw a loop, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, just like that. Very, very nice. And so that is how you flatten out your edges. So continue on with this 2 more times, and I will meet you right here in just a moment. Okay, so I am back, and I have completed my side here. It's looking very, very nice. And so from here, we need to build the corner. So we need to do something to the effect of a triangle in the opposite direction of what we just did. Just like that. So what we're going to do here is we are going to go ahead and go into the next 6 loops. So let's take our crochet hook and go into each one of these stitches and draw loops. So we're going to draw 6 loops, and we need a magic number of 7 on the hook. So our original loop here, and then the 6 that we've picked up. I'm going to yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue on until there are no more loops on the hook. Just like that. So now For the second row, we're going from 6 bars or 6 stitches to 4. So we're going to skip this first bar here. We're going to skip the first bar and the last bar. So we are only going to pick up 4 of the 6. Let me zoom in a little more so we can see that a little closer. We're going to skip this first bar, and we're going to skip this last one here. We're going to pick up this one, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's do that. Go in, draw a loop. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And here's 4. For a total of 5 loops, our original loop and the 4. So from here, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue on until you have no loops left on the hook. Just like that. From here, we're going from 4 bars to 2 bars. So we are going to pick up this second bar. We're skipping the first one, go to the second one. That's 1, and let's pick up the second one right there. From here, we're going to yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and here we are in the corner. Very, very nice. So now, to get over to our work, we need to do a cap row. So what we're going to do here, let me pull this up a little closer. We're going to pick up the bars on the slant here. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to pick them up and do a cap row to take us from here to here. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. But first, we need to chain 1 because we're in the corner. From here, we're going to pick up this first bar, draw a loop, and slip to close. That's 1. Here's the second one on the slant. Draw a loop, slip to close. That's 2. Here's the third one. Drop a loop, slip to close. And here's the fourth one. Go in. It's a little tight there. Draw a loop and slip to close. Let's make a bunny ear here and show the corner. So there it is. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to go back around this round here with a single crochet when I'm done, just to straighten up the edges even further. So that concludes the corner. Feel free to rewind, replay as many times as you need to get that. I also know that there are many people out there that do not do the corners. They flatten the sides and then they slip over like they do a cap row, and then they start this side here. So however you do that is completely up to you, but I've given you the option of creating this corner here if that's what you want, okay? From here, what we're gonna do is continue on flattening our edges, okay? So now that we've gotten around the corner, let's go on and flatten this next one here, just for good measure to make sure you guys have it. So from here, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the next 6 loops. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna go into the space here, draw a loop, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue doing that until I've run out of loops. From here, I'm going to skip the first bar, go to the second one, and pick that one up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to go to the next V here, go in, draw a loop, go through 2, yarn over, and go through every 2 until you've run out of loops. I'm going to continue doing this by skipping the first bar, going into the second one here, drawing a loop, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to go into the stitch here, draw up a loop, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue on. I'm going to skip the first bar, go to the second one, draw up a loop, and continue going through the bars. I'm going to go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, go through 2, and continue on. As you can see, we're decreasing here, which is exactly what we need. I'm going to skip the first bar, go to the second one here, draw up a loop, go into the last V here, draw up a loop, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and there you have it. Very, very nice. Okay, so I've shown you how to flatten the edges. I've shown you how to do the corner. So I'm going to continue on going all the way around. I'm going to complete this round, and I will be back once I get back to the beginning right here in just a moment. Okay, so I am back. I have finished going around and flattening the edges here. Very, very nice. And so from here, I like to go once more around my edges here to just polish it up with a single or a half double crochet. In this instance here, I'm going to go with a half double. And so, as you can see, this is where we began the round, hence the tail. And so what I'm going to do here is slip right on over into that stitch, draw up a loop, slip to close, and I'm going to go ahead and chain 2. The chain 2 does not count as a stitch, it just elevates us to the round here. I'm going to yarn over, go into the stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through all 3. And you don't have to do a half double crochet. You can do a single. You don't even have to do one if you don't want to. But for me, I'm going to use a half double crochet. It is one of my favorite stitches. So I'm just going to go into every stitch here and do a half double crochet all the way around my work here. So I'm going to continue doing half double crochets, and I will meet you in the corner to show you how I go around the corner, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so I'm at the corner, and this is what my work looks like so far. Very, very nice. It's got a nice flat edge to it. That's what we're looking for. And I am just at the corner here. So from here, I'm going to go into the next stitch and do a half double. And so there are some options here, but the best way to get around this corner here is 2 half doubles, chain 2, 2 half doubles. So I'm going to insert another half double into this corner, chain 2, swivel our work around, and go back into that stitch right there and do 2 half doubles right into the corner there. And it gives us a nice corner, just like that. Now, since this side of our triangle was slip stitches, it's going to be very difficult to get into those slip stitches. So we're going to treat them like we have with other rows. We're going to go in between the bars. You can see the bars there. There's 4 bars. And so I'm going to yarn over, go into the space right before the bar. If you see the bar, there's a space. And that's where we're going to insert our hook. So we're going to go into that space, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. And we're just going to continue in that fashion there, right before the bar, and do our half double, just like that, okay? So continue doing half double crochets all the way around, and I shall see you at the end of the round in just a moment. Okay, so I'm back. I've done half double crochets all the way around, and then in the corners, I've done 2 half doubles, chain 2, 2 half doubles here. And so I'm actually going to go around once more just because it's a choice. I really, really enjoy this color and I love how it turned out. And so I'm going to go around once more. I'm going to repeat my corners, 2 half doubles, chain 2, 2 half doubles, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so I am back. I've completed the second round of half double crochets. And so what I'm going to do here is go into the very first stitch of the round, picking up the front loop and the back loop, draw a loop, slip to close, chain 2, and I'm going to grab my scissors and cut a tail. I'm going to pull the hook away from my work, pinch and pull down, and there we have it. So Let me just move my things out of the way and kind of show you what this looks like here. Very, very nice. Entrelac in the round, in the rectangle. This is the back. We have tails there, but that's okay. And I do have another example that I would like to share with you. This is the one that I've been working on off camera. And here is my center. And let me just back up a little bit. And I have one round per color except the white. I've repeated the white once, but it's got all the colors. And the yarn that I used here is Mainstays yarn from Walmart. It's beautiful. And the great thing about this here is on the back, there's this wonderful detail here. It's like shingles on a roof. It's very, very nice. It's got great texture to this. And yes, following this tutorial will give you this result. It's very, very nice. I'm just giving you different angles here. And I do prefer mine like this. I don't really care to have my edges flattened, but I am just one person, and so that's why I made sure to cover the edges as part of this tutorial. So I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give me a thumbie. Consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And that is all for this tutorial. So until the next one, take care, friends. Bye.